Hey folks, welcome to the Daily Dude. Today it's just going to be two random facts because I'm going to talk about politics again. One more story. So you have been forewarned. No need for downvotes. You can skip that part. Although I don't care if you downvote. It's a free country. Well, it's not a free country, but I wish it was a free country. Let's watch these two random facts from two great channels.
Number 9, I have found myself in a bind a time or two and had to catch a possum with my bare hands once or twice. Number 10, I hate tractor rap. If it ain't Willie or Waylon or some of that old stuff I grew up watching, it ain't country. Whatever that mess is they got now, it ain't worth listening to. Sound like a dying calf in a hailstorm.
I am a college dropout. I hate ticks. I hate ticks. I really hate ticks. My favorite international place to travel for business is London.
The Weekend Homestead is a very interesting channel, and he's a very interesting guy, so I'd recommend checking them out if you have not already. And justlivin, that was a great 30 random facts. He was tagged by Michigan Snow Pony, the subject of yesterday's video. He was tagged by Michigan Snow Pony to do the 30 random facts, so have a look at those links below. Okay, we are up to random fact number 26. And random fact number 24 was my political life. So 26 is a little bit more of that. Let's see. And I talked, well, if you missed my video, Peoria Dude for President, if you don't care about this stuff, just bye. That's totally cool. I just want to get this off my chest and onto video. Who knows? Maybe I'll enjoy it in the future. But anyway, 25 was my involvement with the Libertarian Party of Illinois and in politics in general. After I was involved with the Libertarian Party, I was also just independently involved in other causes and issues of more specific causes. But random fact number 26 is, oh, and before I get to 26, I have to expand on that, what, a 35-minute rant, and I didn't make a bunch of the most important points. But all of my talk about getting on the ballot and how it's not fair and it's not equal for anybody to do it, well, I forgot to mention that 35, well, at that point, at some point in time, I don't know exactly what it is now, but 35 states have a filing fee system. You pay some money, you're on the ballot. It's the same for everybody. It's that easy. The states actually bring in revenue to help with election costs. But in Illinois, Illinois and New York is the only other state with a system like ours where you go through the signatures in a petition challenge in the court system. We waste so much money with running the petition challenges, whereas the majority of other states are bringing in revenue, and it's easier for everybody to get on the ballot. And the whole reasoning that the Democrats and Republicans use to keep competition off the ballot is basically they think the voters are too stupid to be able to choose between more than 3 candidates. That's what it all comes down to. They don't want the ballot cluttered. What's wrong with a cluttered ballot? Unless you think that voters are too stupid to pick between 3 candidates. Nowhere in the United States has a problem with too many candidates on the ballot. Nowhere. So these laws to keep people off the ballot, it's not even fixing a problem that anybody has. It's only fixing a problem they have, which is political competition on the ballot. Yeah, I get started. I should get to number 26. I think that was the only point. No, well, okay. I'll get to that. All right, number 26 was I was the campaign manager for 2 U.S. Senate candidates. I preferred being, the guy behind the scenes rather than the dude. So in 2002, I was a campaign manager for Stephen BURGAUER for U.S. Senate, and I've still got a bumper sticker. And Stephen BURGAUER is a great guy. He is a writer. So check out, stick that name in Google. I'll put it down below. Stick his name in Google. He's written some great science fiction, and he has a new book out, Nazi Saboteurs on the Bayou, which is based on historical facts, and it's a military thriller. It's a good book, so check that out if you're into reading Stephen BURGAUER. I was the campaign manager for him in 2002 against Dick Durbin and Jim Durkin. And I should have looked this up. Yeah, he got about 60,000 votes, less than 2%, more than 1%, I believe, closer to 2%. See, I should have looked this up. So, yeah, campaign manager for him in 2002. I also worked on the Cal Skinner governor campaign. In 2002, that was the year Rod Blagojevich, who was in jail, entered office, and Cal Skinner had been a Republican state representative for I forget how long, and he had also worked in the budget office at the national level, and he was his county treasurer. Just a very smart, intelligent, down-to-earth guy, and the Republicans treated him like junk, so he ran for governor as a libertarian candidate, not 100% pure libertarian, meeting the litmus test and everything, but I really learned a lot from him when I was getting involved in politics, because he had been there and done that. He introduced me to some other people involved in the game, as it were, so that was a lot of fun. But in 2004, I was the campaign manager again for a U.S. Senate candidate, Jeri, and he was running against Barack Obama and Alan Keyes. So if you didn't like Barack Obama as president, I'm sorry, I failed. I was the campaign manager to beat him for U.S. Senate in 2004, and I failed. It's all my fault. I blame myself every day, believe me. But all kidding aside, that was a weird campaign. Blair Hull was the leading Democrat candidate in the primary. Filthy rich, and he had a clear shot to the victory. Well, they got a hold of his divorce papers, or they got a hold of something. Anyway, during divorce proceedings, his then ex-wife had accused him of kicking her or trying to trip her, something like that, and got an order of protection against him. So he was out clearing the way for Barack Obama to win the Democratic nomination to run for U.S. Senate. On the Republican side, we had Jack Ryan, who was the clear and favorite on the Republican side, and he won the Republican primary easily. Jack Ryan was married to Jeri Ryan. She was on Star Trek Deep Space one of the Star Treks, the later ones. I don't remember which one. Anyway, Jeri Ryan, she went to Northwestern. I don't know if she's from Illinois, but I do know she went to Northwestern. Anyway, Jack Ryan and Jeri Ryan were married. 7 of 9, that was her character. 7 of 9 was her character. Anyway, so after he wins the primary, and after the primary, they dig into his divorce file. I think it was the Chicago Tribune that was going after his divorce proceedings. Oh, and this, I don't even know if I should repeat this one. as to why he had to drop out. But so his TV star wife, during the divorce proceedings, had accused Jack Ryan of taking her to private clubs and doing private things in the club with other people. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say there. So, bye-bye Jack Ryan. He had to drop out. That left the Republicans needing to fill the vacancy to run against Barack Obama. And Judy Bart Topinka, the head of their party at the time, she might as well just been a Democrat. So Judy Bart Topinka's wonderful idea was, hey, there's a black guy in Maryland named Alan Keyes. Why don't we just move him to Illinois, carpetbagging, really quick so we can run a black guy against the Democrats' black guy? Oh, that was an election. And me, I am the campaign manager for Jeri, the libertarian, only sane candidate. He's still is a high school teacher, public schools. He teaches political science and history. He went out and got 5,000 signatures for himself, which is a massive deal, to get himself and our presidential candidate on the ballot in 2004. And he got a raw deal. So anyway, Alan Keyes versus Barack Obama. They bring Alan Keyes in. I notice an oversight in Illinois election laws. There is no procedure in the election laws for them to replace Jack Ryan with Alan Keyes. It's silent on how to replace a candidate. And I noticed it, and I made a big stink about it. So the reporters were holding off. Jack Ryan was holding off from officially dropping out. All he had to send in was one form in order to drop out. But he had to hold off dropping out because they weren't sure if they could replace him on the ballot. And so I rose to stink about that. I could have taken it further, but I didn't. I got on the horn with Alan Keyes and his campaign, and we worked out something between us that wouldn't cost taxpayers anything. And Alan Keyes and my candidate, Jeri, held a press conference together in Chicago, calling out Barack Obama to debate all the candidates on the ballot. Alan Keyes agreed to debate all the candidates on the ballot. We got the League of Women Voters, who was sponsoring a debate, to temporarily invite my candidate, Jeri, to the debates. Barack Obama refused and was not going to do their debate, so the League of Women Voters changed their requirements to be in their debate to give Barack Obama what he wanted, so that he would do their debate, because their debates are their huge fundraisers for the year. So they're going to bend over backwards. They don't care about democracy and free speech. They're just going to do what's in their best interest. Welcome to America. And so me pushing that, a few months earlier, I had been lobbying Barack Obama to keep Bush off the ballot, or to follow the rule of law. Keep him off the ballot as a Republican. That had happened a few months earlier, and then Obama had won the Democrat primary after Blair Hull blew it, and so now I'm going up against Barack Obama. I should also point out I really made Karl Rove and the Bush campaign mad, raising a stink about the Illinois deadline. That was funny to hear the feedback from them on that. So now I'm taking on Barack Obama. We protested outside the debate. It was in Chicago, at one of the universities. A public television channel was hosting the debate. They're funded by taxpayers, and they are keeping legitimate candidates on the ballot out of their debates at the whim of one of the candidates. Because the other candidate wanted all three. There was an independent on the ballot also. Wanted all four of us in the debates. but Barack Obama refused to be in the debates with my candidate. And if you don't get in the debates, you're not going to do anything. That's how they silence political competition. It's same thing with the presidential debates. So anyway, Barack Obama was a constitutional scholar at the University of Chicago. He taught election law at the University of Chicago. Well, remember all those election laws that were being ruled unconstitutional in Illinois over and over and over and over? Why didn't the election law teaching constitutional scholar Barack Obama notice that when he was an Illinois state senator? Either he's incompetent or evil. But we already knew that. No, the guy is just high and mighty, above it all, and better than everybody else. I had dealings with him on several occasions. Had a conversation with him about the earned income tax credit and how it's inadequate for poor people. Defending, and it, actually the earned income tax credit, that whole idea was developed by Milton Friedman, a leading libertarian thinker. Barack Obama doesn't want to hear that a libertarian might have had some involvement in the creation of the EITC. That's just, oh no. So anyway, I didn't like the guy very much. And his campaign did not like me either. I would go to the meetings with the media outlets where the debates were taking place. I'd, find out when and where they were, and I'd put myself in there because, the First Amendment, media, come on. You don't want to be controlled. You want your freedom of speech and freedom of the press, right? Well, they slapped down a legal form in front of me and wanted me to sign it that said I understood that the requirement to be in their debate was you had to get 15% in an average of political polls and blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the freedom of the press? If you, the press, were free, you would not have me signing this form, because if you're doing nothing wrong, nothing bad is going to happen to you. So the only reason you're having me sign this form, ABC Channel 7 in Chicago, is because you're doing something wrong. The media, you can't trust them worth a lick either. They all either want to become government spokesmen in the future. I could list 24 political reporters in Illinois who later went to work for a government agency in one shape or form. You don't get paid much as a journalist. You want to go work for the government where the pay is probably equal, but you get a free pension and health care for life. So that makes those Illinois government jobs very, very valuable. And a lot of political reporters, I can probably name a dozen right now, and I don't even pay as good of attention as I used to. Okay. Rambling on a Saturday. It's a lazy Saturday. So I was a campaign manager for Stephen BURGAUER, U.S. Senate in 2002. Jeri for U.S. Senate in 2004 against Barack Obama, and I lost. And there was some other point that currently, and this is why I will probably not be talking politics much after tonight at all. But I'm ready to. It's in my blood, and being in Illinois, I have to stay up on. I don't have to, but I do. So I just need to get out of Illinois, get to the country, and forget about their system, because their system is not sustainable. You can't just keep printing money. You can't just keep 7 simultaneous wars going in 7 different countries. You can't just keep borrowing from China. And I gave it my best. I did my part, and moving on. So there won't be much politics from here on out. One thing for people, I don't do what you want to do. I don't know that unless you're a multi-billionaire, and even then you can't do much any good. It's just the inertia moving forward. There's no way we can stop it until they're until they're out of our money to spend. But I think the Hollar Homestead had a video a day or so ago that said it really well, and that is to vote with your money. And I think that that and voting with your feet, that's what you have control over. And that, I think, is much more powerful than a vote in the voting booth. If you don't want high fructose corn syrup, GMO corn, grown over half the land in the U.S., Midwest, with pesticides and herbicides and plowed fields and naked soil, if you don't want that, stop buying the soda. Stop going to the fast food restaurants that are partners in the soda scam. You know, vote with your dollars. And also, if you can, vote with your feet. Get out of the states with high property taxes and with heavy restrictions and requirements on the land. Go to where there is more freedom. At least that would be my advice to anyone who wants to do something politically good, would be to vote with your feet and vote with your dollars. There was some other point I really wanted to make. Oh yeah, people complaining about, they say if you don't vote, you can't complain. That is the biggest piece of hogwash ever. I leave elections blank every election because there's nobody for me to vote for. I'm not voting the lesser of evils. I'm voting for freedom, for liberty, for freedom to educate your kids, freedom to buy and eat what you want, freedom to sell what you want. I want to vote for freedom. And if they're not on the ballot, they're not getting my vote. And I leave it blank all the time. That doesn't mean I can't complain at all. I put in my work. I was the state chair of an opposition political party. You go and vote one day a year and then tell me I can't complain because I left one of the races blank. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Stop using that argument. Vote shaming is stupid. So don't feel pressured to vote. Leave it blank. Don't go at all. I think that's a perfectly legitimate choice to make in this day and age. You don't have to vote. And you're not going to hear me saying, well, then you don't have any room to complain if you didn't vote. I'm not going to say that. You live here. You might be voting with your dollars. You might be voting with your feet. You might be active in other ways. So complain away. We're Americans, and we should all be free to complain no matter whether or not we voted. Voting is rigged for the most part to begin with. And okay, that's it. I wanted to see if I could beat the other one, but I don't have enough stories about Barack Obama. I talked to him about earned income tax credit, talked to him about Bush on the ballot, I talked to him about the ballot access bill to reduce the signature requirements. He tried to bum a cigarette off me once, but I don't smoke menthol, so he had to go elsewhere. The committee meeting where they were voting on the bill to put Bush on the ballot, he was late for that, and I was late for that because, there's a little smoking circle outside the Capitol building. Yeah, Barack Obama is a cigarette smoker. And then he goes and raises the tax on tobacco from $2 a pound to $26 a pound. Okay, that's it. Lazy Saturday. My last political rant. Surprise tomorrow. Well, I'm not going to keep it a surprise. Go check out Natural Living Homestead. They've got a great video up today some of you might be interested in, and I certainly really enjoyed it, but I'll talk more about that tomorrow. So, take care, see you tomorrow, always use a wind filter.